Hey people, today I'd like to take you a little bit behind the scenes and show you what goes into making a travel vlog, or a daily vlog for that matter. I've been practicing them for over a year, but as you can see on my channel, I've really only done a few that have actually been good enough to put out there, and got a handful of ones that just still have a lot of editing to do. So I thought it'd be fun along the way to kind of show you how I make these kind of videos. The first thing that you need to know is what to shoot throughout the day. And this is something that in film and movies they call coverage. Today I'm just going to kind of take you along with me and show you shot for shot what coverage looks like to make a travel vlog. So today let's talk through the different types of coverage that you're going to want to get in preparation for doing some editing, and in the future I'll take you through some of the steps on putting it all together in the end. Oh, that coffee is not very good, so first stop, I need some better coffee. So I know it can be kind of nerve-wracking at first to try to make a video like this, but keep in mind that you don't have to know everything that goes into it up front. And really, the only thing that you have to know up front is a little bit about your gear and a lot about coverage. Coverage is about making sure that you have all of the shots that you're going to need to tell your story later in a compelling way, without any holes in the story or odd jumps from section to section that don't make any sense. If you haven't taken into account all the proper coverage that you're going to need, your movie will probably suffer. What you really want is a variety of angles from each scene and a variety of different types of shots that you can use to tell your story. Missed coverage is a missed opportunity, but what's even more important than getting the right footage is making sure that you're also present and enjoying the trip yourself. I'm sure you've heard all the complaints of watching people recording things with their camera and their phone, saying that they're not living in the moment. Honestly, there's something to that. You really do want to be enjoying yourself the whole time. So to help you out with that, let's talk about the different types of shots that you need to get so that you can get those shots and get on with your life. Now the first type of coverage that you're going to need are called transitions. Oh buddy, I'll see you in a little bit. You keep sleeping like you do all day. Transitions are a really important part of your video because they're the way that you take the viewer along with you for the ride. They are the footage that gets you from point A to point B, and they thread the different scenes of the video together in a way that just makes sense. Transitions don't have to be long, they can be quick. If you watch the way that they do it in movies, a lot of the time you don't see the entire car trip, you just see that people are getting ready to leave and then arriving somewhere, but it's still important. And where it becomes great in these travel videos is that it kind of allows you to set a mood. It gives you time to provide some narration if you want to explain where it is that you're going, or just to get a cool montage of the journey along the way. So let's go. Transition shots are pretty straightforward. You want to get some shots as you're leaving a place. You want to get some shots along the way of the scenery, maybe of the road. It can also be really helpful to focus on signs or certain knowable landmarks that'll help the audience know where you're at. And then towards the end of your trip, make sure to get a little bit of footage of yourself arriving, and you'll have plenty to work with to make a nice little montage. If you want to get more exciting footage than I have here, it helps also to be the passenger, at least for the key moments on the trip. Okay, so after you film a transition from place to place, the next thing you want to do is called an establishing shot. Basically, this shot just establishes the setting, the environment that the next scenes are going to take place in. And there are some general rules to establishing shots that can make it more like experiencing the place than just showing it. For example, when we arrive at a place, we're far away from it, and as we go into the place, we'll get closer and closer. And so the shots can similarly go from wider shots to something a little bit more intimate and involved. Establishing shots should take you from the outside to the inside. And if you like to play around with stuff, like maybe you have a drone, or you like to do time lapses or slow motion or any kind of cool, tricky footage like that, this is a great time to bust that out, where it can actually be motivated and have meaning, where your time lapse can actually arrive at the place that you got to, or your drone footage can fly towards the building. Anything that's taking the viewer along with you for the story and propelling the story forward is going to keep people engaged. And here's a little side note, especially around here where I'm not exactly a tourist, it can be a little weird to walk around with the camera just taking pictures of anything. If you're in a situation where you feel at all uncomfortable, just switch to your phone. So I'm going to take you inside, I'm going to get myself some coffee, I'm going to take my phone with me, and I'm going to shoot a little footage to establish where I'm at. So let's say you're in a situation like that and you haven't had the best transitions, or you didn't get the footage that you wanted that really told the story. A good way to fill in the blanks with that is to put together a montage. So a montage is really just the way that you edit the footage later. Arguably, the transitions and the establishing shots can be done in a montage, but I'm talking more specifically about the kind of montage that maybe you just set to music and you narrate kind of what happened over it. And it's just a collection of shots that just kind of sync to the music and take the viewer, again, from one scene to another in an interesting way. So I'm going to pop in and grab something to eat, and on the way I'll take a few shots and show you how to put together a montage. Now a montage works best with some connective tissue. Maybe it's the logo here, going from shot to carry you through. Or you can do it with the motion of the camera. There are also some more subtle ways that we can do this.
Thank you.
You can connect shots just by framing them in similar ways.
Nope, looking good, thank you.
And if all else fails and you're not talking while you're at the location and you're not doing anything particularly interesting, maybe just set the camera or your phone down and get a time lapse and show the passage of time that way. We don't always think of it this way, but a time lapse is also a form of montage because it's compressing a lot of time down into a little bit. Anything that's going to tie them together into a package is going to help your montage flow from start to finish. Alright, that was good. Jason's was delicious as always. So a few things to keep in mind when you're shooting for a montage. First of all, a montage works best against music. So you gotta think, maybe you don't know what kind of music you're going to use later. Maybe it's slow music, maybe it's fast music. So as you're capturing little clips for each piece of your montage, make sure that you kind of count maybe a slow 4 beats, as that's the most that you're probably going to need. So for example, hold steady on the shot and think 1, 2, 3, 4, done. And if you've got that, you've got enough for the quick shot montage or for something slow to go by. So anyway, another thing that you want to keep in mind is a theme. And I don't mean a big grand theme, but if you look at the montage that I did at the deli here, you'll see that my shots tended to stream left to right or to focus in on something. When I was inside, I did some standard central frame compositions of the food from above. But anyway, just keep in mind that you don't want your montage to be too random, so think of a couple of simple little themes of how you're gonna shoot it, and then just shoot your footage with those in mind, and it'll come out a lot nicer on the other side. So now I've got plenty of energy between this coffee and some food. I think it's time to go burn a few calories. The AC is so loud, but it is just too hot today. I've been turning it off to talk to the camera because I don't want it to sound like shit for you guys, but jeez. Alright, let's take all that coffee and food energy and go burn it off on something productive. Well, the plan was to go take a hike, but I needed to stop back by the house and check on our dog, so instead I'm just going to run down to the riverfront, because if I go to take a hike now, by the time I get to a nice view, it's going to be nighttime. Sometimes you just got to roll with the punches. Alright, so most of what we've covered so far has been how to take the audience along for the ride, going to place to place. We've covered transitions and establishing shots and montage, and hopefully all that makes sense. Let me know if it doesn't. But what about what we're doing at each place? At first I didn't do a very good job of this, and so I would just kind of show a montage of things and talk over it, and I still kind of do it that way, honestly. So once you get to a place, you want to make sure that you cover the action. So between the place-to-place scenes, you want to give people kind of an idea of what you did at each place. You might want to capture some scenes that represent something you were thinking about that you might talk about later. You might do like I'm doing right now and use them as an opportunity to talk to the camera and let people know what you're up to, where you're headed, where you just were, what you're thinking at the moment, whatever. I still find that one really awkward in public, so working up towards it, but for the most part, I like to just talk in the car here or talk to a microphone later. We want to be sure, though, that we capture the action, that we show people what we did and how we had fun. So you want to make sure that you get shots of yourself doing stuff, or at least from your point of view, what you were doing. So I'm going to go set up and capture probably a not very great little time lapse of the sun going down here on the riverfront. The sun's actually behind the riverfront, which is going to be interesting. And as I carry the camera around, I'll try to kind of show what was going on around and where I went and what I did. So you might notice there's a lot of gray area between the types of shots, and that's because these aren't exactly what these types of shots are called in the cinematic sense. What I'm trying to do is give you more of a practical approach that's easy to use, quote-unquote, in the field while you're on your vacation. So while technically all of these shots are being edited in the form of montage, as I mentioned earlier, it's the intention of the shots that I'm trying to describe. So for example, a transition shot. This is going to take you from A to B. For example, me crossing from the trailhead area to the park. And then a series of establishing shots shows you that we're in fact in a new location. And deeper still, that this location is called Frontier Park. I refer to these as action shots because now we know I'm at the park and this is some of the stuff that I saw and that I did. And in a point of view kind of style, it's got a little bit more of an action feeling. This more generic type of montage is really just a collection of shots that I took, not even necessarily in chronological order, but in the order that they best translate the experience to you as the viewer. If you want some better examples of what I meant by an action shot, I don't feel like I captured a great example in this video, but if you go and watch the second Memphis vlog, look at the sequence where we're on the riverboat and I took the long shots of the girls dancing and the band playing and cut that together with some montage and some longer sequences to give you a feeling of what it was like being there, experiencing the action. My intention here is not to have you look at this in a very technical way. Quite the opposite. I want you to think about the way that you move through the world while you're on vacation and the things that stand out to you and how capturing those can make your viewer feel like they were right there with you. The point of this, after all, is to share our experience, and I can't think of a better way than to present our movie in the way that we experienced it ourselves. So these kind of shots are really the meat of the video and the heart of why you're making them in the first place. So make sure that you get a lot of coverage of what's going on and what you did and what you saw. And, you know, try to thread some kind of story through it along the way if you can. That's really the most important part of all of this, is what is the story that you're trying to tell. While the chronological story of this happened and then that happened and then this happened is great, if you really want to capture people's attention, then you got to be threading in another story of something meaningful, like your reflections or what you learned or surprises that you ran into along the way. And you only have to go in with a really loose idea of the story that you want to tell, and then you can kind of figure out the rest along the way. I mean, we can't predict the future here. So I really hope these tips help you guys capture your own epic travel videos or daily vlogs or whatever it is that you're trying to do, and not be so scared of diving in and giving it a go. The first few times that I did it they weren't good. And the more that you do it, the more that you're going to learn. So maybe a year from now, I might revisit this and give you guys some more tips. As for now, this is the beginning of a series that I'm working on. I've got some other videos in the work on how to make these videos, how to edit them, how to time them to music. I got a whole arc of these in the works. So hopefully this is something you guys are interested in, because it's something that I plan to explore a lot deeper. Let me know in the comments if you have any specific questions on this. I might be able to work them into the videos that are coming up. And I'd really love to know if these tips helped you guys out. So if you went in with some of this coverage stuff in mind and you came out with a great video, please share it with me down in the comments. I'd love to see it. So thanks as always for hanging out with me. I really hope that you found this interesting and learned something along the way. I'm still stumbling through it myself, if I'm being honest. If you like this sort of thing, if you want to learn more about this, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Like I said, I have a lot more on this topic that I'm going to dig into. Alright, so until next time, peace.